Red 7 on patrol. We got a heavy storm front coming up. Other than that, all's quiet. Wait a minute. We got bogeys, hundreds of them. HQ, what are my orders?
Shall bear witness to my greatness. I hold their leaders powerless, and their mightiest city is under my control. Soon I will show this world a war, the likes of which has never been seen. I will weed out the weak and inferior, so that only the strong survive.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. F-Dash here with F-Dash TV, and today we're going to do something a little different. No gameplaying today, but we're going to take a look at the PSP specific characters that I don't think many people have done overviews on. I don't think many people even know they exist, right? Because who the hell had a PSP version of this game? But the PSP has 4 additional characters that are not available in the console versions. And the first one you're looking at is going to be Cable. The other one is X-Man. The other one is Cannonball. And then the last one we're going to look at is going to be Dark Phoenix. So with Cable here, you can see I'm going with a focus heavy. I don't think he's a punch and kick kind of guy. I think he's going to be using that gun a lot, so that's going to take a lot of focus. So that's why I pumped the majority of my points into focus and then some into body as well. Looking at his skills, you can see these are the only 3 I have for him so far. He has a melee attack called Bionic Arm, projectile, pistol fire, and a telekinetic sweep. I don't think the telekinetic sweep is as good as many points as I'm putting into it. However, it's kind of all I have, right? Pistol fire is kind of garbage, but I think that it will be good, or could be good, if you use it with the broken buff from Gambit or, gosh, what's his name? Bishop. So, but right now it's kind of bleh. Plasma rifle reminds me of that ability from Cyclops where you can pierce through enemies, so that should be interesting. This confusion one I wouldn't do personally just because it makes your enemies run away, and that's just annoying, right? Time distortion I think is going to be really cool. I think there's somebody else in this game who has it. I want to say Sunfire, but if you remember in Marvel Ultimate Alliance, the first one, this is an ability that Daredevil has, right? So you slow down time. Psychokinetic Slam. Surrounding enemies are hoisted into the air by telekinesis and slammed into the ground. That could be interesting. These are all like radio moves. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, this is his extreme. Okay, so that's why. Okay, yeah. So this is his extreme ability. So not just normal ability. These 2 are radios. He also has a boost called Tactus, where he uses his knowledge to organize and prepare his allies, increasing their defense. So if you want a defense-oriented character, he's your man. Of course, Mutant Power is his other ability. So he's, I think he's okay, right? Obviously, I have to unlock his other skills to see, but I don't think he's like top tier or anything. I think he's just okay. The other character we're going to look at here, Cannonball. I also think Cannonball is okay. He's got some pretty good gear on so far. Anyway, so Cannonball, what I have been doing with him is I've been treating him like a melee character. So as you can see, the majority of his points have been going into his melee, and then some in speed, and then every now and again in body and focus. In terms of abilities, he has rocket attack, right? And you notice everything he does here is like melee, where he blasts forward, damaging and stunning enemies. It does not do a lot of damage, as you can see. A current rank 7 to 9 fire damage, so this one's bleh. Hand Blast, a powerful frontal attack with a large amount of damage. This one does pretty good fire damage, and counts as a melee, so that's interesting. Multi-Hand Blast, which is level 14. Multiple punches that damage and stun enemies, so the first attack will do 8 to 11 damage, and then each additional blow 6 to 9 damage and costs 20 EP. That sounds interesting. He's got his radial attack here. That unlocks at 14. A barrel roll that sends the cannonball slamming into the ground, damaging most enemies in the area and knocking them off their feet. This is should be his extreme attack. He also has a personal shield where damage is reduced. This is cool, right? If you're going for a melee focus build where he's going to be like a tank, that way he can reduce some damage. It's pretty high cost in terms of EP, as you can see, so you're not really going to be using his other abilities much. He can also do a party shield, where the team is immune to physical damage for a very small amount of time for a very high cost. As you can see, first rank is 5 seconds only for a whopping 80 EP. I'm not even sure that's honestly worth it. And then he's got another boost, explosive blows, charging his body. Cannonball does more damage with each attack. Obviously, that's amazing. Very low costs. It doesn't imbume him with energy damage, though, right? So you got to be careful where you use this. And of course, flight and mutant power. I think he's probably a good tank, maybe. I'll have to come back after he's a higher level. He's only level 11 right now. But his moves to me are pretty melee focused, right? He might be able to replace like in my team specifically, like Rogue or something like that, or Juggernaut, because he's pretty melee focused. All right, the other one is Nate Gray, who also goes by X-Man. X-Man's pretty interesting. In terms of stats, he's been very focused heavily on focus. Focus and body for him. As you can see, I don't even think I've touched a strike at all. In terms of skills, you know, he is Nate Gray, right? So he has Plasma Bolt, fires a projectile of mental plasma energy. Pretty decent damage. Cost is relatively high, though. He does do telekinesis. He gets that from his mama. Gives X-Men the ability to lift and throw objects and enemies. I wouldn't put too many points into this, right? Usually 1 point is enough. Plasma Pulse, a radio blast of plasma energy that knocks enemies back. As you can see, I don't have any points in that. One of his radios here is Brainwash. He has a chance of converting enemies. 10% chance of conversion and 10-second conversion. It's a very low chance. The EP is pretty high as well. Plasma Charge is probably better of the two. Charge objects and enemies, causing them to explode and take massive damage. Pretty high cost, as you can see. Reminiscent of Gambit's ability to charge objects and have them explode. High cost, pretty high damage though. But you do have to be very high level for this, right? 28. Also 28 is Plasma Guardian, his radial or his extreme attack. Summons a Plasma Guardian entity that attacks enemies. So it looks like it's alive for some seconds here, at least 12 seconds in the first rank. Only has 40 health, but does it's a pretty decent amount of damage there. In terms of his boosts, he has a Plasma Shield, where the armor takes damage, in this case physical damage, instead of him. Starts at 80 for 52 EP, again, kind of high. Then he has a Plasma Fist, which adds mental damage to his melee attacks. Again, I wouldn't be using this because melee with this character doesn't seem like a great idea at all. Then we've got Flight and Mutant Master. So I think X-Man is okay. I don't think he's top tier at all. He might be mid to low, to be completely honest with you. But again, I mean, he is level 15, so I have used him the most of the three that we've seen. But I think the best one, to be completely honest with you, is his mama, and that is going to be... she's already there. Well, there's Jean. I already have her on the team. How do I get out? Okay, here she is. So Dark Phoenix. I think Dark Phoenix is absolutely broken in this game. She is pretty insane. Let's look at her details here. So in terms of stats, I have been dropping a lot into her focus and body. She has a gear for strike right now, but you really shouldn't be striking with her, just like her normal form. She doesn't have any costumes either. And she comes with all of her abilities already unlocked, and there's a point in every single ability. Not Flight or Mute Master, but all of these abilities here, they're all unlocked once you get her. And I believe to get her, you have to beat the game. Maybe even on the hardest difficulty, I'm not quite sure about that. But so Dark Phoenix's abilities, she has quite a many. So her first is Phoenix Force, where she throws mental damage at people, and she has a chance to convert them. As you can see, this is a much higher chance to convert than Nate's X-Man's, right? It's a 35% chance. And if they do get converted, they get converted for 10 seconds, and there's a 100% chance that they will explode after they convert. So it's kind of cool. I'm not using that ability, though, but that's what that one does. I am using Mental Erode, though. This one does mental damage over time, and it does really good damage over time. Usually kills people, so it absolutely destroys bosses. So she's a great boss killer. Inferno, also amazing ability. Draws power from the celestial plane and engulfs the enemy in flames. So I'm also using this. This does really good initial. Well, the initial damage is kind of crappy, but the DOT damage over time is really good. And look at her cost. She does not use EP at all. Actually, to that point, I was throwing a lot of focus at her, but I'm now actually throwing a lot of strike at her. That's why it's like this, because of the fact that she doesn't use a lot of EP. A lot of her abilities are just they're very, very inexpensive, right? So I think I have enough EP that I can branch off into other things. And she actually does, so I'll take back what I initially said. She does do decent melee damage. Energy Absorb. This basically is a HP siphon, right? This one does 10 HP per second. Energy Absorb 2, the difference between the two is that Energy Absorb 1 gives it to you as the player, and Energy Absorb 2 gives it to the team, right? So there's that. Mind Over Matter is her that's not her extreme attack, is it? No. Takes power over the enemy at the molecular level, doesn't do a lot of good damage, and I just found it basically ineffective, so I'm not using it. It takes a really long time to cast as well, so I did not like Mind Over Matter. Space Warp Inferno is fantastic. Basically makes her into Nightcrawler, and she just dashes around the field doing damage. I really like this move. Consume the Room. This is her radial attack, not her radial, her extreme attack. So enemies in the room have a high chance of being consumed. So it does initial fire damage and fire damage over time. And then she also has a personal shield, which lets her absorb physical damage, which does help. In terms of, she's not going to be a tank, but when she's punching and kicking people, right? If you run out of EP, which you'll never run out of EP, but you know, you can slap that on. And then she has Flight and Mute Master. So I think of the 4 additional characters, Phoenix, Dark Phoenix here is absolutely broken, and she is the best by far of the 3 of them. Oops, I auto did things. I'll have to get that back at some point. But yeah, and then the other characters, Cable's okay. He might be the lowest tier. Cannonball, probably a pretty good tank. And then Nate, probably somewhere in the middle. But yeah, so I wanted to just give you a quick overview of the Vita-specific characters, just because I haven't really seen that online. I'm not sure if there's any videos for that. But now that I am actually able to hook up my Vita to my computer, I'm going to be dropping a lot more Vita/PSP related videos, right? I just think it's really cool. There's some games here that I've always wanted to play, like this one, Soul Reaver. I've never played it before. I think it looks really cool. Fighting Force, of course. There's the God of War on here, Burnout, Split Second's amazing. Of course, one of the best fighting games on the PSP console, Street Fighter Alpha 3 Max. And then, of course, there is all the PSP related games that I have, right? One of the ones I'm playing right now is Arkham Origins, the very first game you see here on this list. That actually was pretty fun. All of these are great, though. I do also want to showcase Gundam Breaker, just because Gundam Breaker is phenomenal as a game in general, right? But yeah, so look forward to some PSP/PSX/PSM/Vita games coming to the channel in the future. But yeah, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this X-Men Legends 2 PSP character overview video. And I'll probably post some gameplay of it so you can see those characters in action as well. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll take you guys next time here on effdash TV. Take it easy.